This session is to show teachers how to set up a time for assessments or a block time for groups, or it can even be used in the future for setting up parent conferences. Any way you use this, it is a way to make subgroups and smaller groups at different times for student use, for online use. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and tell you there's many different ways to do this, but today I'm just going to show you a couple of ways that I know. I'm sure there's other different ways to do this. One of the first ways you can do this is by starting by using your Google Calendar. Many of you use your Google Calendar and many of you still are not comfortable with it. So I'm hoping introducing it to you this way and why you would want to use it will make a little bit more sense. You do not have to have students use their Google Calendar just because you are using yours. And we'll go into this more. I'm starting with Google. I just went to my Google shortcut. I'm going to go to the waffle up on the right hand side and I'm going to go into my Google Calendar. In the Google Calendar, I'm going to use today's, and I'm just going to use later times in the day because I do want you to see how nice it is in your Google Classroom and how you can set this up. So I'm going to use some of my teachers' names and some of my folks here at OFER so that I can show you how that's going to look, and they're going to appear as my students. So I'm going to say I have to decide what the time frame is in which I want to make my appointments. What I mean by this is, do I want them to be in 15-minute increments? Do I want them to be in 45-minute increments? Do I want them to be in 2-hour increments? That's going to be entirely up to you and what you need to get done during that time. For this example, I'm going to use half-hour increments. I might work with my students for 20 minutes and then I need 10 minutes to get set up for the next student and to finish my classwork. So I'm going to start at 4 o'clock and go to 4:30 for my first one. So I take my cursor and I go into the 4 o'clock time frame. I can adjust the amount of time by using my arrow and just sliding it up to 4 to 4:30, or I can come over into what we call the calendar dialog box, and I can use this information right here and I can change the time right in here. If I click up in the title box, this is where I would put the student's name that I was going to be meeting with. So my first one I'm going to put in here is I'm going to put Lori Maturino, because she is one of my students. She's one of my staff, and I'm going to use her as a student in here. And I want to invite her. I can say that she can be added as a guest. If I add a guest and I put Lori's name here, it is going to send her an email message. Now, I understand the older students, you may not want them to receive email, so you can leave that area blank. This is just a note to you that you have an appointment from 4 to 4:30 with Lori Maturino on today's date. You want to make sure that you add the Google Meet video conferencing. Give you automatically a link that you can share with the student so that they know what time their meeting is with you. And I'll show you how that works. Right now it's already given me this link here that I can share within my Google Classroom. So all I have to do now is click Save. I can go into the next time zone. My next time is going to be from 4:30 to 5. Again, I can adjust it here, or I can adjust it here, and I can say it's only till 4:30 to 5. Very easy to change it. If I need to do them in 10-minute increments, I can change the information over here. My next guest is going to be Leslie Ferrante. So I'm going to put in Leslie in here, put her name in here. Again, if I add her as a guest, she will receive an email. If I don't add her as a guest or invite her, she will not show up and will not get an email. That's entirely up to you. Again, I just need to put in here, join with a Google Meet and save. And I'm going to add one more at 5 to 5:30. Maybe I need a little more time. It doesn't matter. I can adjust that very easily. My next student is going to be Whitney Hardcastle. And all these students are in my Google Classroom, and you'll see why I wanted to do this with students that would make sense to you in my Google Calendar. Again, from 5 to 5:30, if she needed extended time or a shorter time, I could change this. I'm going to add that Google meeting conference with her, and I'm going to put Save. Now, very simply put, I've made 3 appointments for 3 blocks of time later on this afternoon. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Google Classroom that contains these students. So I can go over to the waffle right here. I can go easily into my Google Classroom. I have a lot of classes because I oversee all of my teacher classes. But down here I have my OFER staff classroom. And in my OFER staff classroom, I can go in here. And remember, I made an appointment with Lori. So the first thing I can do is I can go back to my calendar. I can click on Lori's, her appointment. In here, I can go in here and right here it says meetgoogle.com and it gives me her link. There's a copy button right here to the right. I click it, it puts it on my clipboard or in the copy area, go back to my Google Classroom, and I can go in here and say share with my class, and I say, Lori, you have your assessment today at 4 o'clock. Okay, I've already talked to my students and told them that they were going to be getting things. Now I just said that. Now I don't need everybody to see that link. I only need to add that link for Lori. So I'm going to click on link down at the bottom and I'm going to paste that link that I have on the clipboard and I'm going to say add link. Now the thing is that everybody in the class does not need to see this. But what I do need to know is that Lori needs to see this. So I'm going to go into it, instead of saying all my students can see this, I'm going to click in here and deselect all the students. All I have to do is take that check mark off. It deselects it. I'm going to go down here to Lori Maturino, click her, and now only one student can see that. And then I go over here to post. Now, Lori Maturino is the only person who will see that post. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go in and share something with my class. And the next one that I had on my calendar for 4:30 was Leslie Ferrante. So I'm going to go in and open up my Leslie Ferrante one, make sure it says Leslie. I've got her Google meeting over here. And so I'm going to go into her meeting. I'm going to go over here to her Google Meet. I am going to click the copy button. I'm going to go back to my OFER staff calendar. I can change it first, second, third. It doesn't matter as long as I do it before I post. And I'm going to choose Leslie Ferrante and say, tell Leslie, you have an assessment. Oops, can't spell. Have an assessment 4:30. And I can say, here is your link. Remember, you have this. Put it on, make sure you join us at 4:30, whatever I want to do. I need to make sure I click the add button. I say link because the link is on my clipboard now. And I simply say paste. I'm right clicking to say paste. I can use Control V to push paste. Any of those will work. And I click add link. My next thing to do is it has one student is going to get this message. And I didn't put Leslie, but I could put Leslie's name. And I say post. So now on my Google meeting, I see all of these are here. And I can do this one last time, but I think you kind of got the hang of it. The last thing, the reason why I like using this way of doing it is this one last little trick that I really like. When I go in right now, because I have several, let's say I'm going to be doing 4 assessments this afternoon and I just can't remember who they're with or what time they are. I can simply go in and go to my Google Meet over here on my clipboard, on my Google Apps, go down to Google Meet, click on my Google Meet. It knows my calendar for today. Over here, it told me at 1 o'clock I have a create assessment calendar, which is what I'm trying to help you do right now. I have a staff meeting at 2 o'clock. At 4 o'clock is Lori. At 4:30 is Leslie Ferrante. At 5 o'clock is Whitney. It's very easy. The students do not have to see your calendar, and you really don't even have to go back to your calendar because all I have to do is click into that time and it will automatically join me by clicking on the join now. It will add me to the meeting that I should be in at the time. Another way that a lot of my teachers are telling me that they're using the Google Meet is to use a template or to create a document. In the handout that's listed in the library, probably next to this video, I have posted a handout that says set up for assessments. And in there, I've created a document template. And I'm going to open up that document template so you can see it. The document template's very easy to do yourself if you wish. But I've created one for you very simply. I've only made you the viewer on this document. So you can't go in and you can't start, I don't want you to start making changes in it. I want you to go in, if you want to change this, go to File, go to Make a Copy. It will make you an additional copy, and you can even change this. You could change the name of it and say Teresa's Assessments. You can change it to whatever you want, put it in your drive. I would share it with the same people because it is shared with everybody who has a link in Oroville City. That's up to you. You can change it. Click on OK. And I'm now not going to be working on the one that I shared with you, the original copy. I'm working on Teresa's assessments. It's a copy of what I made. In this one, if you have younger kids, you might want to add the student's name here. You might want to put each name in yourself because the students may not be very competent at typing that in. You may also want to put the date that you want them to be at the assessment and the time. The only thing they have to do is confirm it, maybe with their initials to let you know that they've seen it. For the older students, you are going to go in and you can have them sign up for a particular time. So they're going to go ahead and write their name in here. You don't have to write it in for them. You're just going to put a list of your date and time, and then they can put their name in here, and then you would confirm it. You make sure. Or you could change this word from the confirmation to when to be confirmed. It can say link to meet. So you would go in here and you would put the link to the meet. Some teachers are using their class meeting link, which is fine, and you can use your class meeting, or they are going into Google Meet and creating those different times at different dates so that the student can log in with a different number or a different link. You can also go in and use the ones you created on your calendar, and you can copy and paste the link to the Meet right here. But either way, the link meeting will be right in here, and the student on that time, they can copy this into their Google Classroom. You can copy into the Google Classroom. You can create this list and put it in your Google Classroom. I have the Teresa's assessments. It's in my Google Drive. So I can go over here and I can go to Google Classroom. I can go over here, go into my Google Classroom. And again, in my classroom, which is my O for staff, I can go into the classroom and I can actually share something with the class. At this point, I can say all students. And if I want to, I can add something from my Google Drive. Remember, that is where I save that Teresa's assessments. So I'm going to go into my drive. It should be one of my recent documents under my drive if I want to find it that way. Or I can go in here and I can look down here, and it's called Teresa's assignment. So I'll find my T's for sign up for student assessments. I own both of these, so they're both going to be there, but there's the student assessments. And here I can say to my class, please sign up for a time. So in here, you would go in here and you would post it, or you can schedule it, whichever you'd like to do. And the students would go into this and they would sign up for a specific time. Doing it this way does allow students to see when other students are signing in to do their assessment. So it's either way is a good option for you for setting up multiple times. If you get used to using the calendar, I think you will like it. It is a really big help, and it will help you keep track of your times. We'll make sure that if you have a staff time, you have a staff meeting, you're not booking things at the same time. So go ahead and try a couple of these options for setting up your assessment times. And if you have any questions, you can refer back to this video or check out the setting up for assessments handout that I've created. Thank you.